Good morning, esteemed guests. Allow me to start by telling a bit of my own story in China. I grew up in a small town in South China, 2,000 kilometers away from the capital, Beijing. In my primary school days, the kid who got more envy from peers was not the one with the best scores, but the one with an overseas uncle. Because that meant you were going to get a lot of foreign stuff not found at home. And in my high school days, the guy who got even greater envy from peers was the one who made it to Beijing and watched the Beijing Olympics in person. Because that 2,000-kilometer trip was a long distance, a luxury of both time and money. After all, China only had its first and small section of high-speed rail that year. Such memories are not so distant. But as China keeps integrating itself into the world, we are now a major player of imports and exports. And in just 15 years, we go from having none to over 2/3 of the world's high-speed rail networks. I share my story because what has propelled BRICS countries might also do the same for Africa. In fact, there are parallels between China and Africa. Both are developing nations with a history of colonization or invasion. Both have vast populations with increased diverse needs. These shared experiences and expectations foster mutual understanding beyond a West-centric perspective. The understanding, for instance, that Africa needs infrastructure more than lecture. Africa needs trade more than just aid. That's why when BRICS and African nations come together, we should always prioritize economic and trade development rather than ideological confrontation. That's also why the Belt and Road Initiative has focused so much on connectivity and trade. As media practitioners, we wield the power to shape narratives, not just objectively, but constructively. The African story is one of triumphs and trials, of challenges and solutions. And we could be part of the triumphs, part of the solutions. For instance, our attention to gender equality in education and job could actually ignite productivity on the African continent and even mitigate overpopulation. I visited South Africa first in 2017, and the Table Mountain and African penguins still captivate me today. Africa is a land of great natural and cultural wonders. Their richness holds great potential for Africa's ecotourism and sustainable development. In a digital era, our narratives of Africa's splendors could traverse borders and propelling its service sector towards new heights. There's a famous saying in Chinese, when everyone else fails, the flames rise higher. That captures the essence of our forum today, a platform where our collective resources and insights can meld into a positive change for Africa, and more broadly, the global South. As conduits of information, let us not just document Africa's journey, but be architects of its success story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Zheng.